XX marks the spot. It's maximum exposure. We got the 411 on the 911s. A dude's got two choices, jump or burn. He chooses... A dirt truck dumps on top of a mother and her little girl. How do you save a friend trapped in a copter? You just use your superhuman strength. A painter hangs on for his life, while his snoozing partner just hangs out. Somewhere in this dock, there's a major idiot. A robber tries to save his neck by sticking a knife into it. A tiny tot gets trapped in a well. A boy, a meat cleaver, and a crazy dude. All the ingredients for a nasty kidnapping. And a bank robber takes a stab at holding a woman hostage. It's people who need people. Rescue me!
He needs some help! Somebody help him!
A gasoline tanker crashes in front of an apartment building. Fire rages out of control. Thick smoke and flames engulf the building. Firefighters battle the blaze. Then they spot this. A man trapped in an upper-story apartment. And no way to reach him. Thick black smoke and flames shooting as high as 80 feet block the building.
The smoke and the debris everywhere, it looked like something out of a war scene.
It's a race. Firefighters are trying to knock down the fire to get to the man. But can he hold on long enough for them to save him? Time runs out. The man leaps. Again in slow motion. Firefighters can't reach him. Flames and smoke are at his back. He jumps. Firefighters and paramedics rush to help him. Bystanders help bring him down. He was treated at the hospital for smoke inhalation and burns on his arms, upper body, and face. He made the tough choice to jump, but it was a leap of faith that saved his life. A dump truck and car collide on a West Virginia road. Underneath the more than 30,000 pounds of metal and dirt, a mother and her 4-year-old daughter fight for their lives. The mother is unconscious, pinned beneath the steering wheel and car roof. Rescuers can hear the little girl trapped inside the wreckage. As some firefighters dig away the tons of dirt, another team uses the jaws of life to try to reach the child. They make contact, but can't get her out.
I just tried to keep her calm, and it seemed like she was okay. I could see her moving around, and she held my hand. She stuck her little hand out there, and I talked to her, and it looked like she was going to be okay.
The only hope of saving the girl and her mom is to perform a high-risk procedure. Use one tow truck to try to lift the dumpster off the crushed car, and use another to pull it out. One mistake could crush him. Cables are attached. It's time. One tow truck raises the dump truck, while the other pulls the car. The car is out. The race is on to save the girl. little girl, scared and anxious to get out.
I just wanted her to try to stay still so she wouldn't get hurt any more than she already was. I really didn't know how badly she was hurt, so. And I was just relieved that she was able to move that much and able to talk and able to communicate with me.
I thought the little girl was blessed to be unhurt. It almost brought me to tears right there on the spot. You know, I kind of held myself, you know, because I would hate to see any kid that have to go through that. But I could tell that she was still scared. You know, she was kind of shaking. You know, I guess from seeing her mom in that kind of shape.
Thanks to firefighters, the girl and her mother were both rescued and survived. Oahu, Hawaii, Friday the 13th. Not good. That big guy right there is known as Tiny. His buddy Steve is flying that chopper. They're both Vietnam vets. They're moving heavy equipment for the Hawaiian Electric Company.
We had about 6 pieces of equipment that needed to be moved. I had moved 2 of them, was coming back for the 3rd one, when the helicopter tried to go into a full left-hand turn just without warning. Made the decision to come back and land, and decided I was going to land away from where they were. The helicopter went out of control again. I was too close to the ground, didn't have a chance to do anything. I remember the helicopter pitching to the left and up, and then that was all.
The chopper crashed in a stream. Steve was face down in the water, his head pinned underneath thousands of pounds of twisted metal.
Get on the radio, go, dispatch! Get out, get out!
There was no time to wait for rescue equipment to arrive. Steve was drowning, and there was nothing Tiny could do except this.
Come on, Steve! Holy Steve! Come in the water, brother! Come in the water! Yeah.
Summoning up superhuman strength, Tiny lifts the chopper off Steve.
I don't know what made me do it, but I just grabbed the chopper and see if I could move it. And at that time, the first time I tried it, it budged a little. Then I guess with the grace of God, I picked up the next section. But the next time I went down to pick it up, it moved. I had it lifted high enough where Henry could get his legs out. We needed help. He was really bad. And we didn't know if he was alive or dead because there's no movement.
Steve had a broken ankle, a severe concussion, and his arm was nearly severed. Tiny packed the mangled arm in ice and encouraged his friend to keep fighting until medics could airlift him to the hospital.
You're all right. It's coming now. The ambulance is coming.
Thanks to Tiny, doctors were able to save Steve's arm.
Without a doubt, Tiny saved my life. When I finally was able to watch the videotape after the crash, to watch what he did, jump into water without hesitation, not even considering whether the thing was going to explode into a million pieces, reach in and try to get me out, then grabs the helicopter and actually physically lifts it, which is humanly impossible to do, and yet he did it.
Come on, Steve! Holy Steve! Come in the water, brother! Come in the water! Yeah.
And that's a heroic act.
I don't think I'm a hero. I'm not being modest, but when you go to help your friend, you don't run there to get recognition. You run there to help your friend.
He wasn't thinking of anything but my well-being, and for that, Tiny, all I can say is thank you for my life.
For someone named Tiny, he is one strong dude. But for one critical moment, he was super dude.
Come on, Steve! Holy Steve!
You're hooked up with Max-Ax. Next, one painter takes a siesta and the other takes a fall. A A desperate cat somehow gets wise and dials 911. A kid learns it ain't easy being an outie. A dad tosses his daughter out the window, desperate to save her life. With this grenade, I do thee wed. A guy does everything he can to save a baby deer. If that ain't heroic enough, check out our Max X list of Rescue Me. Max X, we put the real in reality. It's Max X. Rescue me, and do it now. We've all worked with guys like this. This dude's sleeping on the job.
He, took his glasses off, took his shoes off. He just curled up and started sleeping on the top of the roof.
He's clueless that his butt is dangling from a thin rope, 18 stories off the ground, fighting to hang on. These guys were painting a sign on the side of a hotel when the scaffolding broke, and this guy grabbed a safety rope.
The people that were gathering on the street were horrified. They were thinking that he's going to fall any minute or something really bad's going to happen.
He figures it won't be long before his coworker pulls him up. But Loser here's snoring away on the roof, and his friend could die at any moment.
He is literally just sleeping away while his worker is now fallen, and he's screaming, help, help. I felt sorry for the guy because he was scared to death.
A third worker below can't understand why the guy on the roof isn't helping. He decides to split and check things out.
The painter's buddy actually woke up when a co-worker came up on the roof and physically woke him up.
The two of them don't have the strength to lift their co-worker to safety. Moments later, rescuers are on the scene. Firefighters run some safety lines to the painter and use all the muscle they can to hoist him up the side of the building. Even the sleeping dude gets in on the act. Thanks to firefighters, the man is rescued from certain death. And you just know when Sleeping Ugly tells the story, he's the hero. Okay, dudes, we gotta ask. Do you have an innie or an outie? All you outies, listen up. Don't ever try this. This 9-year-old kid was showing off and got his outie belly button stuck in the hole of a sign pole. The only solution? Cut it down. The outie was wedged in there so tight there wasn't much firefighters could do to free it. It looked like a giant kidsicle. They took the boy to the hospital where doctors removed the pole. But odds are that once the kid recovered, he was back showing off for friends. You know, probably sticking his tongue to that frozen playground equipment.
Stranger things have happened.
Well, actually, no, they haven't. This is really strange. Meet Tipper. To most dog lovers, he looks like your ordinary, lazy, good-for-nothing cat. But don't tell his owner that.
He is a smart cat.
Genius, actually. Tipper was home alone one day when his flea collar got snagged and started choking him. So, what old Tipper do?
911.
Yep, he called 911. Tampa, Florida 911 operator Alina O'Royal took the call.
You gotta hear this cat. This is the craziest thing I've heard. Cat called 911. Sounds like it's tangled in the phone and screaming and
A sheriff's deputy responded and rescued Tipper.
Something you see on TV you never think you'll be involved with.
Stranger things have happened.
No, they haven't. APB, all units respond. Be on the lookout for a ventilation shaft that is armed and dangerous. Here's one for the Stupid Criminal Hall of Fame. A burglar robbed a Los Angeles restaurant and decided to make his getaway through the air vent on the roof. The dude got stuck, and the fire department was called to rescue him. Does it look like these firefighters are in any hurry to get this guy out? Let's say we try to bang him out. No, that ain't working. Let's yank him out. Nope. Ah, the heck with it. Let's just saw him in two and dispose of the body. All you ACLU members, just kidding. 3 hours later, he's out. And tasting his last breath of freedom. Cops slap on the cuffs and haul him off to the slammer. No one will be rescuing him from there anytime soon. Max X, Danger is our middle name. Coming up, a wanted criminal uses his baby to shield him from the cops. And meet the world's dirtiest kid. Bad guy pulls knife, cop gets his kicks. Dude with a cleaver takes on a whole town. And a little boy who really needs a rescue. We've got more people barely making it out alive on our Max X list of Rescue Me. Maximum exposure. We don't make this up. Here again, Max X and the heroes of Rescue Me. Southern California. Cops are in hot pursuit of a getaway car. That teddy bear belongs to a little boy lying on the back seat of the car. But cops don't know he's in there. The man driving the car is burglary suspect Eddie Price. And Price is heading for the Mexican border. A news chopper broadcasts the action as it unfolds.
It's got about 30 seconds before he hits the completely backed up traffic. Looks as though the Mexican officials have shut down the border.
Price is desperate.
He is not stopping. He's turning, he's running it. Right now he's only about 100 yards from the border. He's going quickly towards the border. All lanes are stopped going into Mexico.
Traffic is snarled. Price gets pinned in. Cops and Border Patrol surround his car.
Looks like they've got him completely surrounded. Officers have their weapons drawn.
Cops order Price out, and he refuses. So they take it up a level and bash in his window with the butt of a gun. He scrambles into the back seat and pulls out his infant son from his car seat. This isn't enough to get the cops to back off. So Price pulls out a pocket and holds it to his own neck. The police back off. Out he comes, baby in one hand, knife to the neck in the other. He just wants space so he can run to the border, and perhaps his freedom. They mace him. Back in the car he goes, furious. After some more intense negotiation, Price steps out again. His son is a shield. He inches toward the border. Another shot of mace. The child is snatched, and Price is finally gang-tackled by cops. Here's how it went down. Cops talk to Price through the open door of his car. This man right here is U.S. Customs Officer Alfredo Morales.
He trusted, because I was the only one unarmed. And he started talking to me. He was just telling me that he just wanted to go to Mexico, to live him alone. The only thing I kept on repeating was that everything was okay, not to hurt the baby and to hand off the baby to her.
After some very intense negotiations, Price comes out of the car. He starts edging towards the border. Officer Morales has agreed to take the baby as Price runs across the border. But what Price doesn't know is that the gray-haired man is about to mace him. There's the rescue, and there's the mace. Price runs. Let's see it from another angle. There's the gray-haired cop about to mace him. Morales grabs the baby. Price is maced, and he runs across the border into the muzzle of a gun and the jaws of a police dog. Finally, he's gang-tackled. The baby is unharmed. But his bandito dad is doing 6 years in the slammer. Of course, in every situation, there's another perspective. Let's hear it from Price himself.
I was on my way to pick up my mother-in-law, and we were going to all come down, go shopping and look around and stuff like that. And then it all hell broke loose, so...
Chicago. Firefighters respond to the scene of an apartment building ablaze. Thick black smoke engulfs the building. There's a father and daughter trapped somewhere in there trying to hang on until firefighters can reach them by ladder. But they're losing their battle to survive. Down below, bystanders hold open a blanket just in case. Choking to death, the father drops his daughter out the window. Here's a slow-motion look at that desperate act of love. The father and his daughter are suffocating on the smoke. He hangs his daughter out the window and drops her. Even though she hits the ledge, she's okay and lands safely in the blanket held open by the strangers.
Be okay, baby, okay? All right?
The little girl's father clings to life. A woman screams for him to jump. Bystanders open the blanket as firefighters reposition the ladder to try to reach him. Should he jump? He chooses not to. And within moments, firefighters climb the ladder and pull him to safety. There's no shortage of heroes here. The father who teamed up with strangers to save his daughter, and the firefighters who saved him. Our Rescue Me quiz. What do you think might be in that chimney that has firefighters so concerned? A, a serial killer, B, a bomb, or C, a 5-year-old Santa Claus wannabe? The answer is...
Oh my God!
C, meet 5-year-old Santa wannabe Robert Cunningham. Here's the short version of what happened. Robert scaled a neighbor's roof, climbed inside the chimney looking for Santa Claus, and got stuck. Firefighters were called to rescue him. They dropped him a rope and did a little coaching.
Robert, you see that loop that's down around your rear end there? That loop and the rope? You need to put your leg through that loop, okay?
In went his leg and out popped Robert.
Oh my God!
Hey, don't worry, Robert cleaned up just fine. You're kicking it with Max X. Next, a gruesome threesome. 3 people and a grenade. Quick thinking and quicker feet. A dude goes the extra mile to save a baby deer from becoming roadkill. And a kid with a lump and a cleaver in his throat. If you want some serious close calls, stick around for our Max X list of Rescue Me. Max X. We're prime cut. Max X. Bring on the heroes. Guatemala. Man in Black. 2 hostages. A hand grenade. 1 dangerous situation. This dude is real bad. He sprung himself from police custody and is willing to die rather than go back to jail. A cop tries to negotiate the hostage's freedom, but is getting nowhere. The standoff continues into the night, and the hostage taker is starting to lose it. He demands a car to drive to the El Salvador border. He also wants a loaded gun. They strike a deal. The guy gets a truck. In exchange, he'll free 1 hostage near the border. Then police will trade him a loaded gun for the 2nd hostage. The truck splits. It drives through the night. By dawn, it's near the border and is stopped by the side of the road. Will the suspect keep his word and free 1 hostage? Cops work him. After some tense moments, the male hostage is freed. The female hostage is still being held inside the truck, and her captor is now demanding that police honor their word and give him a gun. Police ready a weapon. The suspect sticks his hand out the window. The cops hand the gun to him, but doesn't let go of it, and he keeps talking to the suspect. This cop's gonna sneak around back of the vehicle and come up near the driver's door. The cop holding the gun continues talking to the suspect, distracting him. The cop who snuck around the vehicle suddenly reaches through the driver's door and pulls out the female hostage. But this ain't over. The suspect pulls the pin. And if there were any doubt he were dead, a cop empties his gun into the suspect. Take another look at this daring rescue. While one cop talks to the suspect through the passenger's window, the other cop sneaks up on the driver's side. He reaches in, pulls out the hostage. She flees, and then the suspect explodes. In the end, the hostages came through the ordeal unharmed. Bangkok, Thailand. This doesn't look good. A crazed man threatens to kill a 7-year-old boy with a meat cleaver. Police believe he's high on drugs. Gripped with fear, the child's mother faints. The kidnapper asks to be driven to a quieter place, away from crowds. They move inside a building. Plainclothes cops and civilians try to negotiate with the man to free the child, but he ain't hearing it. Despite the danger, a reporter tries to get an exclusive interview with the kidnapper. There's a sudden noise to the kidnapper's left. He looks away. That rescue again in slow motion. The meat cleaver is pressed to the child's throat. A microphone from a reporter is thrust in the kidnapper's face. A noise distracts him. A cop seizes the moment. Watch as he reaches in, grabs the kidnapper's arm. Others free the child. And then the kidnapper is taken down to the ground. The boy was rescued unharmed. The crowd delivers street justice. Hey, meat cleaver man, here's something for you to remember while you're doing time. This Brazilian bank robber is really ticked off. He just botched a holdup, so he took a hostage. He's threatening to kill her. Negotiations are going nowhere. Desperate to end this, authorities bring in a priest to try to reason with the knife-wielding psycho. For one cop, this has gone on way too long.
Consegue desarmá-lo.
Check it out in slow motion. The robber's waving his knife. Our hero back here is waiting to make his move, just, looking casual. There he goes. 1, 2, 3, kick! The suspect tries to knife him. Look how close he comes to stabbing the hero. But he misses, and the other cops rush in to tackle him. Woman rescued, suspect behind bars. Let's hear it for the Kung Fu Cop of the Year. You're down with Max X. Coming up, chimps can't swim. Good thing humans can. Got a well? Make a wish that a kid gets out alive. A baby deer gets the kiss of life. And for more dudes cheating death, you gotta see our Max X list of Rescue Me. Max X. We're busting out all over. Max X. Heroes everywhere. An isolated village in China. These people are facing an impossible crisis. A 2.5-year-old boy, Mamiya Wei, is trapped at the bottom of a 75-foot deep well. The terrified little boy's leg is broken. This is his foot twisted up towards his face. The boy's mother watches helplessly. The village has no heavy machinery or rescue equipment. First plan? Tie a rope around the thinnest soldier and lower him headfirst into the ground. It fails. The hole is too narrow. Second plan? Send a small boy down. Down goes the little boy. He reaches Mamiya, but he's wedged in so tight he can't be rescued. Mamiya has been trapped for hours. The final plan calls for desperate measures. Dig a hole alongside the well. Everyone fears a cave-in that would bury Mamiya alive, but they have no choice. They dig through the night. At dawn, the hole is complete, and a rescuer is on his way down to try to reach Mamiya, who has now been trapped for 18 hours. Mamiya's mom can be heard trying to comfort her son. The rescuer reaches Mamiya and slowly pulls him into the adjoining tunnel. Mamiya is raised out of the hole. His nightmare is finally over. Mamiya's father is totally overcome. Mamiya is treated for a broken leg and minor cuts. Rescued from a well that very nearly became his grave. A busy Southern California freeway. A fatality. The victim, a pregnant deer, struck by a hit-and-run motorist. Roadkill to most, but not rancher Gene Chafin. He stops, delivers the unborn doe, and discovers the baby deer isn't breathing. Gene does the improbable. He gives the doe mouth-to-snout resuscitation.
Come on, babe. Come on, babe. Come on, guys.
Gene struggles to breathe life into the newborn. It looks hopeless.
Come on, guys. Come on. I see that. Look at this. Come on.
But then, a gasp for air.
He's breathing. He's breathing. All right.
The baby deer takes its first breath, then another. But it will never survive if Gene can't get it to feed. He tries to get the doe to nurse from its mother, but it won't take the milk.
Right onto the heart.
Next, he tries to hand feed it with milk taken from the mother.
Oh yeah, she's swallowing it. Yeah. She's swallowing it. She is swallowing it. It's beautiful.
That's a good sign.
That's a good sign.
Come on, Freeway. Freeway.
Gene names the deer Freeway. One more look at what it took to save Freeway. Oh yeah, above and beyond.
Come on, guys. Come on. I see that. Look at this. Come on.
Detroit Zoo. You got your chimps, you got your tourists, you got your hours of entertainment.
Look at Dickie, look at the monkeys. Wave to him, say hi.
And bye, monkey. One of the monkeys named Jojo has fallen into the moat surrounding the exhibit, and he's drowning. Chimps can't swim. And truck driver Rick Swope jumps in to try to save him.
He needs some help! Somebody help him!
Anybody that was there that's seen this could tell you how heartbreaking it was to see this thing in the water, drowned, and almost begging for somebody to help him.
Oh, please!
Here's another angle. Rick is having trouble carrying the lifeless 120-pound chimp to shore.
Help!
He wasn't moving. He was down, not 1 ounce of life in him. He was, in fact, I thought he was dead.
Rick gets Jojo to shore, then loses his footing, and the two fall back in. Adrenaline pumping, Rick tries again. Finally, he's able to pull Jojo to safety.
After I got him turned over, I looked at him, and he was looking right dead at me. He wasn't moving, but I could see him looking at me.
That rescue moment again, slower and closer. You can see Rick using every ounce of strength in his muscles to try to save Jojo. Inch by inch, step by step. He was not to be denied. This monkey had a human on his back. And thanks to Rick, Jojo lived.
I don't know chimpanzee talk, but I think when he turned around and he hooted at me a couple times, I think it was a thank you.
Well, either that, Rick, or he was falling for you. After all, you are his hero. You've got maximum exposure. we're all that we're cracked up to be. Especially because next up, you're going to see our Max X list of Rescue Me. Back with the best. It's the Rescue Me X list. Number 3, coming in from Chicago. That's fear in Terrence Tunnelwitz's eyes. His life is slipping away. Bystanders are using scarves and belts to fasten a safety line and try to pull him from the frozen waters of a lake he's fallen into.
Okay, that's what we need. Let's get all the belts off.
But Terrence isn't the only victim. There's a sled and a child's gloves. They belong to Terrence's 5-year-old son, Jimmy, who's somewhere at the bottom of the lake. The battle goes on to save Terrence. Nothing can be done to search the lake for little Jimmy until firefighters and rescue divers arrive. Terrence's freezing body is losing strength.
Get some more belts.
Firefighters arrive. They lower a ladder to Terrence. As they pull Terrence to safety, the search begins for his missing son. Divers comb the bottom of the lake. Up above, a firefighter uses a pole to try to locate Jimmy's body. The boy's been underwater for more than 20 minutes, and there's no sign of him anywhere. The search goes on. Then it happens. A diver brings the boy's lifeless body to the surface. Jimmy is taken to a waiting ambulance and rushed to a nearby hospital, where doctors fight to save him. Amazingly, doctors are able to rewarm his tiny frozen body and restore a heartbeat. A son brought back from the dead. A father given life by total strangers. You gotta love modern-day heroes. X-List number 2. Victims of an apartment fire scream for help. They're trapped by thick black smoke and flames. Firefighters are on their way, but it could be too late for Noel Perez and his wife Annabelle and their unborn infant. Annabelle is 7 months pregnant.
People on the ground were just horrified. They were screaming and screaming because they were sure that this woman was going to die. Everybody was crying and screaming, help her, help her, help her.
It's more than 30 feet to the pavement below. Do you risk dying in a fall or in the fire? Annabelle makes the choice. Here's that life or death leap in slow motion. Noel holds onto his pregnant wife's legs as she dangles upside down from the 3rd story. She hangs there for nearly 20 seconds. Then the moment when Noel lets go. Fortunately for Annabelle, neighbors had stretched out an open blanket moments before she leaped, and these heroes catch her. Fire engine sirens can be heard approaching, but Noel ain't waiting. The thick black smoke is killing him. He jumps and lands in the blanket. 2 more people jump to safety. 1, 2. With the help of strangers, Annabelle and her husband rescued themselves and came away with only minor injuries. The other leapers also survived. As for the unborn baby, born perfectly healthy. Oh yeah. Topping the X list, one of the all-time classic Rescue Me dramas. A blizzard grips Washington, D.C. A plane taking off from National Airport loses control and nosedives into the frozen Potomac River. For 74 on board, the plane becomes a tomb as it instantly sinks below the ice. Amazingly, 5 people survive, and they're trapped in the frigid waters fighting for their lives. The water is only 20 degrees. It can kill in minutes. A rescue chopper arrives and finds the 5 survivors clinging to the wreckage. Bert Hamilton is the first to go. He's so disoriented, he at first just wraps the rescue rope around his neck. The guy in the chopper has to talk him out of that idea. Next to be rescued is Flight Attendant Kelly Duncan Moore, the only crew member who lived. She hangs on with her last ounce of strength as the moments slip by. Time was now being measured in fading heartbeats. Joe Stiley and fellow passengers Nikki and Priscilla were growing colder and weaker. Priscilla had no strength left to hold onto a rope, so Joe tried to take her in tow, and then Nikki takes a fall back into the icy waters. Now it's Priscilla's turn to let go. Joe has to leave her grasping for life on an ice bank. The next moments are some of the most dramatic ever caught on tape. Priscilla attempts to hang on to the life preserver, but she can't make it. She lets go and looks as if she's going to drown only feet from... But then a heroic bystander, Lenny Skutnik, risks his life to pull her back from death. Priscilla and Joe safely on shore. That left only Nikki to be rescued, and she was barely hanging on. The chopper crew risked disaster by touching down on the river. Freezing waters. 5 victims beat back death and defied the odds twice. Check this out. This is the true meaning of what it is to be a survivor and a hero. When tragedy strikes, cover my back and I'll cover yours. Maximum exposure.
Roll call is over. Now it's time to hit the streets with the men and women sworn to serve and protect. It's next on KVOS.
Stranger things have happened.